Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? It is Motivational Monday. You know how we do. Me and this gentleman right here, Talent, you see the guy to the other side of me. We bring it to you each and every Monday, trying to help you kick your week off on the right foot, trying to help everything go like it's supposed to go. But most importantly, just using little tidbits and tad bits of things that we've either experienced during the weekend or things that we've experienced over the past week to move us forward into the week that we're coming into and to put us in a headspace and to put us in mind frames and mindsets that allow us to continue to move forward and inspire others. Today's particular Motivational Monday is kind of special for us. Tal and I were having some conversations off air, and we thought to ourselves, besides, utilizing what we utilize every week to hopefully motivate you guys, we realized that there are people who motivate us. Sometimes they're mentors, sometimes they're coaches, sometimes they're former teachers that you might have had, but there's all kind of beautiful people who you encounter during your travels and trials and tribulations in life. And these beautiful people inspire you in different ways. Sometimes it's from a money standpoint, sometimes it's from a spiritual standpoint, sometimes it's from just a standpoint of trying to be the best version of yourself you can be, or even motivating you to just hold on, because sometimes we need encouragement in those areas as well. So again, this is Motivational Monday. This guy here on the other side of me, I'll just start off real quick. It was a dynamite weekend, T. It's good to see you, brother. As you can see, I got the sun shining right behind me, which y'all know when y'all see this sun this bright, that means I'm on that other coast, but
I knew it.
love is
I
love.
knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Oh,
Love
you
is love.
son of a bitch. Hey, speaking of that, you're Vegas?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, speaking of that, I'm gonna be out there um that first week in September.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you find your way out there.
See,
We hang out. I
connect
think
up.
I'll do like Monday through Thursday. Like I'll get there Monday
Okay.
and I'll leave Friday type thing. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
we'll talk off
We'll
air and
talk about that.
everything. Um
Yes.
Happy Monday to Alfreda Jackson with the
Yes,
check-in. I see you
Alfreda.
right away. Oh,
Elizabeth Snipe.
Elizabeth, I see you. They checking in, brother.
Yes.
They
Yes.
checking in.
Beautiful.
Let me say this. I'm highly motivated out the gate because and I don't know what day I did, but I woke up one day in the middle of the week just blessed, like, and with like, because these back-to-back weekends with my New York Kings, my comrades. Shout out to Capone. Shout out to Rob Stapleton. Shout out to Mark Vieira for making this thing what it is. It's amazing. I can't say anything. I can't overrate it because it's just the highest rating you can get. When I tell you, when we come together, this finalized product that we sell called comedy, when you pull the high octane guys and cram them into one show, it's just amazing. And we because obviously the pandemic, it's probably been shit. I don't even know, going on 2 years, if not right under 2 years, that we've all got on the stage together, right?
Wow.
So last weekend we get on the stage at Caroline's. We got 5 shows. We crunch them all. Like, people just come out the woodwork to be at these shows. It's crazy. Then we follow up the following weekend, and we're at Levity Live up in Nyack, Rockland County inside the mall. That big, and that's even bigger. Like, so that holds probably 100 more people per show than
Ah,
Caroline's, and they pack that sucker in 5 more shows.
yes.
Um,
Yes.
so that just ended yesterday, literally. So I'm riding high, like, yes, thank you, God. We feel real good. Like, we need those under our belt coming back. To get your legs under you and all that, but
Mm.
more importantly, to know that the people missed us as much as we missed the people.
Yeah, that's big. Most of us do and don't understand. A good part of or a large part of motivation is just the acknowledging being in the moment, being present. That is a huge part of all motivation, is present
Right.
in the moment. So it's great to see you guys back. It's funny, a second ago when you said all of us come together, all I could think to was our childhood. I was like, oh, they back like Voltron, y'all. That's scary.
Hey, what's funny? You use that analogy because I use that analogy, right? We were on a live. I think it was like Saturday, and we still had a few seats left for Sunday at the time. So we were talking about that, and we were like, Mark was like, yeah, man, four bad dudes, we get together, blah, blah, blah. I said, Mark, we so bad, we formed Voltron with just four.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
like, even Voltron needed five. I said, we're
Five.
forming like a Voltron with only four pieces or whatever. Um, but yeah, the weekend was stupid, man. And, I got to do something that made it. Let me tell you what motivated me. So when my mom died, right, I have one sister. I got five sisters. I have one sister that's my little sister. And she's the only one that I guess I feel like because she's the baby, I think we all feel like no matter what, we have to protect her. You know what I mean? Like we have to be there for her or whatever.
Hmm.
So, and I always said to myself, I know something's going to come. The day's going to come where I have to do that, have to step up to the plate, blah, 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 whatever. So my sister had been calling. My sister, she's one of these people, like, she didn't have a cell phone for a long time, right? She's one of the people, I don't need no damn cell phone. Fuck a cell phone. But I don't like that because when I go to need to see her or talk to her, I can't find her. You know what I mean? If she ain't in one or two places, I get worried. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pay for something. I'm going to pay for the cell phone. You ain't got to pay no bill. Just have the motherfucker on you so that when the time comes and I need to reach you,
I can
a
find.
piece of mind. Right. So she agreed, but she's still lousy, right? She lousy to the point where she don't fucking answer shit still a lot, right? So I get pissed off sometimes. So 2 days before the weekend, she's calling me. I seen the missed call. Oh, I gotta get to her. But I was impressed. And then when I got ready to call, I said, you know what? I'm gonna give her a case of her own fucking medicine. Whatever, take my time, right? So 2 days later, I finally pick up and she's like, yo, I've been calling you. I said, yeah, I see. She's like, why didn't you pick up? I said, I'm doing what the fuck you do with me. So she laughed and like she said, well, I'm calling you. I don't call you like that unless it's an emergency. She said, I need somewhere to stay. Now, when she said that like that, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I'm bullshitting and my sister's evicted, right? But that wasn't the case. She led it wrong. She was like, I need someone to stay for 3 days while they redo the apartment. But but she said, I need someone to stay like she's homeless, right? So once she get there, I said, why don't you lead with that? God damn. So I was like, all right, cool. So I said, well, what do you want to say? She said, I don't care. I just need somewhere to stay. I said, well, I'm going to have to get you a room where we stand because we're doing these shows up in Rockland. You just stay where we stand and come to the show if you want to, blah, blah, blah. So she ended up doing that. So I felt real good and motivated by that. That lifted my spirits because it was one of those things like I even talk when I'm by myself to my mom's spirit. I'm like, see, mom, I'm
I'm still.
I did it. I did it. I got her. But there's things like that, right? That you see and you come across and they kind of motivate you to do other things and inspire you to do things, right? Heavy D's last words, I say this all the time. The last thing he tweeted before he died was two words, hashtag be inspired. And I never forget that. I'm never gonna forget that. My youngest dog, I named after Heavy D. Heavy D is a mentor to me. He's one of those people that I can look at and get motivated and be inspired, like he said, and makes me want to do something. When we were coming up in Mount Vernon, we went to high school together. So when Hev was doing his thing with the music and albums, my music group was doing his thing and trying to follow suit. We were inspired by him. Like he was an example, a great example, by the way, set for what we were trying to do at the time. Now, our first guest, this is the part, one of the segments of the show is going to be popping up on Mondays, ladies and gentlemen, and it's called Motivation Mondays Mentor Moment, where we shine a light on people that inspire other people as well. My first guest is a fellow comedian that's coming on here. He's out of Philadelphia area. You might have recognized him from shows like HBO Def Jam, BET's Comic View, Showtime at the Apollo. He's a very funny dude. Please welcome Charles Walden to Motivation Monday. Show him some.
Yeah.
Charles is in
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
All right. How you doing, Charles? Good to see you, sir.
Hey, good to see y'all, man. I thought we were done with the Zoom, but hey, I see. I guess it's here to stay.
Yeah, it's here to stay. We still
A
got to
little
do
bit.
these shows, Charles. We still got to do other stuff. Now,
Yeah,
Charles,
I know. I
let
know.
me introduce you to my co-host. That is brother Amir right there. Amir Charles Walden. He's seen your work before.
Okay,
Yes, yes,
Amir,
yes.
how you doing, sir?
Good to see you. Good to meet you, brother. Good to meet
Same here. It's always good to meet somebody with a nice, simple name,
you.
easy to spell.
All right, so Charles, let me tell you what brought you to mind today. As I was scrambling to find somebody positive and uplifting, I'm going from now. We had the 5 shows, the New York Kings at Levity Lot, right?
Yeah.
So Sunday, I got my last show's at 7. So I had booked a daytime show close to you in Cherry Hill, which is 2 hours from where I'm at, right?
Uh-huh.
So I said, okay, it's a day show. If I leave here at 11, I get there at 1. If I get done no later than 4, I got 3 hours to get back. I'll make my show, right? Which I end up making. But I stop at one of the rest areas on the turnpike, and they had a table set up. My middle son's autistic, right? So they had a table set up, and I don't have paper in front of me, but there's an organization that they raise money. They're not for profit. They raise money for the sole purpose to employ adults with autism. I thought that
Cool.
shit. I thought that shit was the coolest shit.
Yeah, that's
I
dope.
thought that was the coolest shit I've seen in a long time. Now, the table when you walk in the rest there is set up, and they have uh these specialty popcorns that they sell. That's how they raise the money. So they got like Chicago spice and blah blah. Other than the regular
Just
popcorn you can grab, and it's like I think $2.99 a bag or whatever. But your money's going towards this foundation, and then you can put some extra if you want or whatever. And I was like, I didn't even look at it like even having a 20-something-year-old autistic son but he's always been highly functioning side of the spectrum. He's a barber and he works over here. He does all this stuff. So I don't, other than thinking back when he was a baby, I don't even really look at it like that. So it brings me to mind, like, you know what? My boy Charles has jumped over hurdle after hurdle after hurdle and done this fucking comedy thing better than a lot of people that I know that are just fucking have no ailments at all. Now you got, is it cerebral palsy?
Yeah.
Okay, so he has cerebral palsy, and that shit don't stop this man. This man book shows everywhere, get around more than other comedians I know. Did you know that you were inspiring other people, my brother?
I realized that as I went on, because in the beginning I thought people were just saying the shit like, okay, I was like, okay, whatever, you know. But then but then when I saw, because I don't know if you know Stacy Carver,
Yes, I
a
know.
comedian. Stacy years ago, like in the late '90s, we were working together down south, and he said, you know what, Charles? He said, I realized what you went through because I had a motorcycle accident and I had to be on crutches for like over a month. And I saw the adjustment I had to make. It was mind boggling. With people just staring and nobody want to help or nothing.
Right, but see, you. Here's the thing. I'm a able-bodied person, and every time I see you, I'm not gonna lie. I'm in awe. I know I don't show it because we're friends. We've been friends for so long, and you're regular to me at this point. But every now and then you'll sit in the corner and you'll watch Charles and be like goddamn, like the brother. I've never really seen him complain, bro. Like Amir, if I got, I've had ankles swell up and knees blow up and hurt. I'm complaining my ass. This man every day walks, get from point A to point B, and makes it a point. I'll say this, Amir. He makes it a point not for you to help his ass.
mm, wow. That's it's so funny, Charles. And again, one of the reasons why we have you on the show, and one of the reasons why we think stories like yours are so inspirational is because in the grand scheme of things, I just said this a little bit earlier. I said people don't realize about being in the moment. We are so, profoundly thinking to ourselves that, we need to get to stuff. Get down, Brooklyn. We need to, get to stuff, at other times or other moments. And we don't really pay attention to what's literally happening in the moment. And, the
Mhm.
talent's point, I've seen you perform on 2 occasions that I could think of. And again, it's always just amazing to see you, go and do your work. And like you said, without complaining, you get the job done, you move on to the next thing. When we have people who, like you said, are able-bodied and capable, and they're always constantly,
Always complaining.
going through
Oh
complaining
yeah.
about this or complaining about that. I always find it super, super special when you can find people who just look at life and they appreciate life for what it is and they make it work no matter what the situation is. And we look at you in that light. We're looking at you as in that regard. So I really appreciate you not only coming on the show but share with us how it is you're able to kind of keep your mind frame and your mindset in such a space so that you can get things done.
I mean, it just took a while. Like I guess I don't think about it no more because like in this day and age, things got easier to get around as opposed to like when I first started, like back in like '89. It wasn't really no handicap accessible shit. Wasn't no
Mhm.
wheelchair assistance in the airport or nothing like that. And if you had trouble walking in the airport in the early '90s, you just had to walk that shit.
That was just
But it just realized, and not me, just and a lot of my disabled friends, we just realized I had a cool mentor like my basketball coach, and we used to go camping, and he had this saying on his board saying that handicaps are made and not born. You know,
Ooh, I like that.
me- you know, meaning just because you're born that way, oh, sorry, but you don't have to act like. So it's just an adjustment and giving yourself time to get somewhere.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm gonna go back because I understand you said right now you don't even think about it, you're used to it. Let's go back to the early days. Did you or was you ever battling, let's say, with depression or something like that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would get down a little bit, but I was blessed to have good people early on in this business around me, like the Keith Robinsons and the Ralph Harrises, and because
I love those guys.
I remember like around maybe 95, 96, and I was like maybe 6, 7 years in, and I was from down there. Keith said, "Well, Charles, you're looking at it the wrong way. Look at how many people started with you, and how many of those people are still around." And I was like,
So
"Wow, you know what?" I said, "I didn't think about it like that."
that's a great point. I tell
that's a
people that
great,
now,
yeah.
like even now, I say like when people like after the pandemic and things start to open back up, you look at the phones that ring and the phones that don't ring, and that's something that I call the weeding out. I said this a long time ago that there was going to be a weeding out, and the cream's going to rise to the top, and everybody is not going to just be hitting every stage, like because comedy at some point got oversaturated to me. It became the new
Yeah,
rap music. You know how rap everybody had a demo at one point. It became like that to me, and I said it's got to be a weeding out, and the people control that. So when the things open back up, the doors and capacities and everything, the people, the promoters, the agents, the clubs, they went for those veterans, those seasoned comedians. They kind of like pushed everything to the side and said,
hmm
we got to hit a home run out the gate because we're a year and a half deficit behind. We need home runs.
Yeah.
exactly. And what you were saying about like the saturation, I think what comedy is, it goes through a saturation period, like every few years, and but like you said, the people who are original and take and I'm not wording it right, but always gonna rise to the top. Because I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of people just get in there because they see how how much fun we having on stage, and they're like, oh, I want to do that, and just think they can go up there and just say anything, and it don't work like that.
that's exactly right. And over the years, Charles has gotten cocky, Amir, because look, he want us to know he got a nice ceiling fan going. You know, look, we all got a ceiling fan, but only you angle your camera a certain way.
I'm
So
sorry, I didn't realize that. I apologize. I'll turn it off. I'll take it out and just sweat.
No, we don't need you to do that, brother.
You know, growing up as a kid, yeah, I ain't had no ceiling fan, no air conditioning. You know, my mom,
Had the other one.
my mom never had a nice ass air conditioning in their room, but every other room in the house burning hot, man. Like, God damn, man, it's amazing. I fell asleep, and you go in her room, boy, it's like North Pole in there. You be like, shit, you damn near 14 years old. Tell my mom, can I sleep in your room?
Well, you know that was by design. That's by design by black parents.
Exactly. I'm like, man.
If
But
they keep
yeah,
you hot, hey Charles, if they keep you hot, they keep you woozy. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah.
said, you fell asleep. They know what the hell they're doing. Well, my brother, I didn't want to take up too much time.
Yeah.
I just wanted to touch on it and remind you that you are a mentor, whether you know it or not. You're a role model. You're a mentor, and people are watching. Yes, they're watching you for comedy and your performance and everything, but also understand they're looking at you in awe most of the time and looking back at themselves and say, well, because when you see people who have what we call an ailment or something that's supposed to hinder them or hold them back or hold them down, and they
Mm,
still getting it done and rising, you got to look at yourself and be like, shit, I got to get myself together.
yeah. I
So
mean,
thank
cause
you, my brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time, brother.
well, thank you for having me. And matter of fact, I want to get a steel blade ceiling fan next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Charles Walden on Motivation Monday. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you,
Yes,
Jack.
No
yes,
problem.
Charles.
Anytime,
Welcome.
anytime.
God bless, bro. God bless.
Same to y'all. Y'all
Yes,
be
sir.
safe.
Oh my
God
God,
bless
that's
the
hilarious.
brother. All
He's
right.
hilarious. Amir. Oh, we gotta bring Amir back in. He froze out. Um, yeah, that's my brother Charles Walden, ladies and gentlemen. Comedian extraordinaire out of
There
Philadelphia.
we
And when I tell you, yeah, you're joining talk a little bit. It was chopping. Yeah, it's chopping. It's chopping. Go
Yeah,
out
it's
and come
better
back in.
now. Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah. A little choppy. Yeah, so he's an inspiration to us all. And like I mean when I say like when you look at certain people and people do positive things, it makes you look at yourself and any excuse you've been giving yourself, it makes you reevaluate that. Like, well, I said I couldn't do it because my toe hurt, my foot hurt. This man has cerebral palsy, and when I tell you, I've had him with me in Florida. I've had him with me. I don't know, West Coast, Midwest, upstate, downstate, everything in between. He gets there. He gets there. And then I'll book somebody. Ain't nothing wrong with them at all. Hey, man, sorry, man, missed my flight. Wait a minute. Yeah, I was messing around. I was tired, or the cab came late. I didn't catch the check, or that, whatever the reason is. You look at guys like this who's dealing with real hurdles, real situations, real setbacks, or supposed to be setbacks, and triumph over those setbacks. How you feel about him, Amir?
I'm good. I think I'm back. I hope I'm back. Y'all can hear me and see me functioning again. Um, no, that was a great motivational situation there. He sort of reminds me of, I can't think of the other gentleman who I know passed a couple of years back. That was also in a wheelchair. Another comedian, brother.
Oh,
Very funny
Damon,
gentleman. Yes,
Damon.
yes. Those gentlemen. Anytime, every time I've always seen them, I've always been, really, really impressed with, not the level of professionalism, but the mere fact that they come, they, like you said, don't ask for help. They're not looking for anybody to do anything to, force them in any way, shape, or form. But they always come and bring a sense of calm and a sense of energy, almost like you said, uh, the same as people who supposedly are functioning normal. So it's a very, very
Right.
fun and interesting duality to that.
Well, I mean, I just applaud the
Uh,
brother, man. Every time I see him, and kudos to him, man. It's a perfect motivation Monday mentoring moment. And ladies and gentlemen, every week we're gonna find somebody or some people to spotlight on this show, because this is what the show is all about, and we talk about it all the time. But to present them to you and show you in real time and in real flesh and light, I think it adds a little something to that flavor, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that's
Yes.
what I'm talking about right there. How was your weekend? I skipped over and didn't even hear about your weekend, bro. My bad.
The weekend was incredible, man. First of all, still in New York. I didn't leave and get out here in Vegas until Saturday. But the
Okay.
weekend, was off to a phenomenal start. It's always, the one beautiful thing I love about this time of year in the summer is you can always obviously find things to get into, but you really get to know your neighbors, you get to know the people in your neighborhood, things like that. Where I am, out in Brooklyn, everybody sits out on their stoop and we kind of chop it up about life. And, everybody is talking about a little bit of everything. And it goes from everything from what's going on with masks and vaccinations to the police, situations going on in the world to anything and everything we can think of. But the beauty of it is just the people themselves. And, you start speaking to different people from different walks of life. You just realize again, you have so much more in common than you think you have different and foremost. And it's the level of that we begins to have with one another, which is major in terms of us getting to whatever solutions we're going to be able to find as we, continue on this journey called life. So,
Right.
that was super cool, man. The
Yeah,
flight
you
out
got to
here to
stay
Vegas
cool
was
out there,
was a
man. You in
yeah.
Vegas
Oh,
too, so that's
yeah. It's a
heat
million
wave, right?
degrees out here, by the way. Yes, sir. It's a million
I was
degrees
about to
out
say
here.
it's a heat wave, man. And let me tell
Yo,
you something. I said it before. I'm inspired and motivated by Questlove's last production. Shout out to Questlove from the Roots.
yes.
Did you get
Yes,
a
I
chance?
watched
Get
that
a chance?
yesterday. Yes, I watched it yesterday, T. Incredible, incredible document. You know what I found? This was what I found so amazing about it. For those of you who don't know what Tal and I are talking about, on Hulu or on your Fire Stick or whatever, please check out Summer of Soul. When I tell you this documentary about Black Woodstock, that's what we're gonna call it going forward. We ain't gonna call it Summer of Soul no more. We're gonna call it the Black Woodstock. Which to me, what I found most interesting about it, to see that number of black
Oh, damn, you
kids,
breaking up.
walks of life. Wow. Break up again.
You're
You
breaking
know,
up real bad. Um, yeah. But just to carry on, piggyback on what he said. I don't know if it's another part of the house or Wi-Fi or whatever, or you want to try or whatever. But yeah, the Summer of Soul it was so motivating, bro. And I don't know if I was more. It's so many different things that motivated you with the things. I don't know which one was more motivating. I don't know if it's that the fact that somebody filmed it. I don't know if it was the fact of all those great people in one place on one given day for a
uh,
festival. I don't. I'm talking artist wise, and then again, I don't know if it's the amount of people of us regulars that came to see the artist,
that
right?
came to see it.
I don't know if I'm more amazed that it's been sitting in the basement for 50 years, or if I'm more amazed that somebody took it out of there and said this needs to be seen, this
See,
needs to be edited or worked or whatever, and made a production. Either way, it's just astonishing.
I, beyond like you said, the fact that you saw so many multitudes of us, because there was, according to the numbers, they said it looked like over that, those few weekends, I think it was 5 weekends in a row, they said 300,000 African Americans or 300,000 people got together to enjoy that concert. Now, what I like, telling and speaking of what was so impressive is you just saw us all together. There was no fighting. There was no pushing, there was no shoving, there was no carrying on. Everybody was celebrating one another. You saw different styles. You saw everything from Afrocentric or whatever, just everything that you could think of. And amazingly enough. And then when you started looking at the multitude of entertainers, like you said, that were a part of this project, the other part that was astonishing is some of the names of some of the artists that were there. Again, if you haven't seen this project, like for instance, Gladys Knight and the Pips, they weren't even popular when that hit. Stevie Wonder was 19 years old when they did that particular, you know, concert. So, to see all of these people in the earlier stages of their careers, and then to know where their careers have then gone on to, and the contributions that each and every one of these artists have made to the landscape of music. To see Mahalia Jackson ask one of the Staple sisters, "Look, I can't hold it down today. I'm gonna need you to hold us down." I thought that that was probably one of the most touching parts of the entire
Yeah.
thing, because she said Mahalia Jackson was talking about mentors, was somebody who she admired and somebody who was a mentor to her. So to have your mentor say to you, "Hey, look, I'm gonna need you to help hold this down for me," I thought was incredible. But then to see her then not only hold it down, but blaze it, I was like, man, I can't imagine how dope that concert must have been. And then I just started thinking to myself, for the young people who were there, imagine all these years they really think they were at a time
Oh
when
damn,
maybe
breaking
concerts
up again.
were not up again. Okay, I don't know what's going on because I'm sitting still, so I don't know why the Wi-Fi on
Okay,
my
you
thing
good
is
right
acting
there.
crazy. But to see, and to think to myself about all the young people who they showed, because there was a multitude of young people out there. And I'm not only talking about kids, I'm talking about the teens and everybody. I just thought that, like I said, it was a very, very emotional and incredible project. So
Yeah,
thank you for,
yeah.
speaking
Hey,
about it. But I did get a chance to
let me
see it,
let me
man.
tell you something,
Incredible.
bro. I watched that thing, and speaking of the people who were young at the time, you see the man. It opens up with a guy who was there, and when they showed him the footage, like it was so emotional moment for him to see it play back because he lived his whole life almost. This is 50 years this thing been in the basement. He lived his whole life with nobody talking about it, like it not making any news and not being any mention. 50 years. So when he seen his mouth was open, he's gaped, and at the end, remember he was like, "Thank you." He was like, "I know I'm not crazy."
It was crazy.
Because
Yeah.
think about it, something that big, that shit would make you think you crazy if for it to just
Nobody.
disappear into a basement and nobody mentioned, like nobody picked it up, nobody mentioned it, nobody thought to air it, even in documentary style like we're seeing now for 50 years. So if you was there as a young kid, you're like, I remember my mom taking me this thing, and you're like, I know I'm not crazy, for nobody to mention. So the way he felt like falling into this kind of epiphany, like revelation state, like, oh my God, thank you so much. I'm glad that somebody said, I know I wasn't fucking crazy. That was worth everything. That was amazing to me
Yes.
in its own right.
Yes.
And so, you know what I mean? So you got to see it, people, if you haven't already seen. You want to be motivated, especially if you're a person of color. Summer of Soul, I think it needs to be seen by everybody. But motivation wise, if you're a person of color, you need to see this. You need to see that we can move in these numbers and love one another. We can move because
Yes.
there's a big misconception that we can only love each other in small numbers or family get-togethers or little outings and stuff like that. As soon as we get thousands and thousands of us, oh, we niggers, oh, we gonna act up, blah blah blah. You need to see this proof of how big and astronomical the amount of people that seen this thing. Like I said, over about 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and that nothing major went down. You know what I
and
mean?
it was
Nothing major
and it was
went
a
down.
and it was a free concert. That's the other part of it that I like. When I say I was blown away, every aspect of what they showed, the stuff that they talked about, even the behind the scenes, and how this particular gentleman was able to pull so much of this thing off by utilizing something else that you and I talk about quite often, which is
Mhm.
relationships. And just like I said, if you don't come away from that thing motivated, if you don't come away from that situation, in some way, shape, or form, feeling better, because again, to see so many artists who we've again come to admire and be inspired by, but to see them at the earliest stages of their career, and to know that they gave not only of their time and energy, but this was a crossroads for a lot of them, because as the documentary points out, our country was at a crossroads. The world
Yeah,
was at a crossroads.
yeah,
And they were trying to figure out, or we were trying to figure out as a community, what our next steps were. the fun part about it is, again, this gentleman here, each and every day he gets up and he splatters things on the wall for us to think about. So you got to think to yourself, we're still sometimes at a crossroads when it comes to us being motivated to do what's right, to continue the movements that have been started, by our parents and by our grandparents and things like that, our neighbors. And like I said, you got to see it. It is. It was. I was mad there wasn't more musical moments. To be honest with you, I was like, damn, why they ain't let
because
this one rock?
because of the people that was there was so astronomical. But the direction he took for the documentary, I think that you know I appreciated it probably more because if it was more musical moments, we could get easily because of the star status, we could have got caught up in it and been jamming more than we need to. I think the point was made of look at what we did. Look at this thing. This because we're in a climate where one of the negative things that the powers that be are doing is they're trying to erase certain parts of history.
Yes.
So I think that was the point of putting this out. The point was we're going to show you this big part of history that clearly somebody was trying to keep back because it was in the basement for 50 years. But this needs to be seen, and people need to know their history. So I think that was the point of it. And I think kudos they got that shit off. Speaking of the climate, I don't know if you've seen this story. I'm gonna talk about it in tomorrow on the Divided States as well. But I'm just gonna brush on it. Have you seen the story? What happened last month in Rock Hill, South Carolina?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so this story is makes the point to what we mentioned when you said the climate, right? Since George Floyd, no one can deny the climate has drastically changed in America, if not the world. Um, and last month, a brother got pulled over by the police. They was like manhandling him, police brutality, yanking him up, whatever. The guy, I think, made a wrong turn or didn't signal for turn, some shit, some traffic violation. But they was following him kind of because they thought he was the drug dealer. Well, when he knew he was getting pulled over, he called his brother to come, look over the shit, whatever, whatever. So the brother shows up on the scene while they're roughing him up. And some of the cops give the brother permission to, his brother wants to say, hold my jewelry, you know what I mean? And he get the jewelry. And when he goes and moves to get the jewelry, the other cops take it some sort of way, beat the shit out of the brother to a pulp. Broke his nose, blackened his eye, he's bloody and everything. Put it this way, in his court arraignment, he's in a wheelchair, right? So, but my point to this is they try to they make up some charges because of his history. Oh, drugs, and unlicensed gun, and this, that, and the third. This is fast forward that video. Some young lady is taking the video. Then other videos come forward from the gas station where they've seen him at, and some other footage to show that whatever the cops were saying was embellished and lying, and was not the case. They came out on some George Floyd shit, protest shit. Cops had to get the riot gear, the shield, and all that shit. Make a long story short, they dropped them damn charges. And the cop who broke his nose and everything, he got charges. So the cops will let go and then press charges. He dropped his and reversed them and put him on the cop. But can you imagine if we don't have those videos, if we're not in the climate we are where Rock Hill, South Carolina said, fuck that. We standing up. Not here. Not here.
Yes.
We're gonna burn
It's
some things, we're gonna make some noise, and it got done. You know what I mean? But this is what I mean by we must pay attention. You know,
yes.
this protesting group was motivated by all the protests leading up into this point. And motivation is a funny thing. I know a lot of times we get on here and it was like, hey, go to work, be prosperous, do your thing, be an entrepreneur, whatever. That's just one compartment of where motivation lies. Motivation lies everywhere, bro. Are you motivated to work on a relationship and keep your wife, and your family together? Are you motivated to do the best thing for your family? Put your kids in the best schools that you possibly can, and look after them in a certain manner. Motivation can be in so many different compartments and where you apply it. That's why this thing works every Monday. That's why this
Yeah,
thing has an avenue to go down, if you will, because there's so many avenues we can go down to be motivated.
yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think that to each and every individual, who tunes into our show, week in, week out, first and foremost, thank you to and kudos to all of you. And for those of you who tell a friend to tell a friend, because that is important as well. Um, the rippling effect of talent and myself, just trying to drop jewels and nuggets that we think are pertinent and are valuable to, our audience is just a small part of it. But the rippling effect that it has is the fact that you guys then take either those same jewels and nuggets and you share them within your circles. Because the more that these things resonate, the bigger the whole tribe gets. And once you have a big enough tribe, then you now have a voice and now have power. We have to really, start to understand that as individuals and and doing the things that we're doing, that's great. But when it really comes together is when we all get on the same accord, and then we say these are the things that we'd like to have addressed, or these are the things that we'd like to see change, because now we have a moving force. To Talon's point, that's one situation. I'm sure all of y'all or
Right.
some of y'all are familiar with the other situation that happened down in Maryland with the white guy who choked out or was talking really reckless to the neighbor and talk about come see me and this and that and the third. You see, the community turned out to see him. He said his address on that thing, and they they showed up. He was, oh, wait a minute, watch what you
You,
ask for.
you know what it is? That's how you know that guy is not black, because there's certain trigger words that you don't say to black people that trigger them to get it done. Come see me. Don't if you don't want somebody to come see you, don't say come see me.
No,
Never
that is
say, you know where I live at. Come see. Don't do it. They
because
came and see.
they came to see him. And the thing about it is, I felt bad because I thought that the officers, were trying to handle that situation as best that they could, and I think that they did a great job of handling it as best they could. I think where the problem in lies was the fact that, the people and the had done some things that I thought was unfortunate, in it including, throwing water and certain things. I was like, look, the cops came, they pulled that man out of his home for, doing something that was obviously irrational and wrong. So let's do our part. Y'all did your part by showing up, and trust and believe that was more than enough. And one of the greatest things that I've, seen in a while. But I love the fact that, to your point, we're starting to be motivated in
Yeah,
various ways,
yeah,
whether we think that it's from a monetary standpoint, whether we think it's from a spiritual standpoint, like I stated earlier, even if we think it's from, just a standpoint of making a point as we come together as a collective to
yeah,
hopefully move forward an agenda. And all of these things matter. They all are part of, like Talon said, the title of motivation. So the more we do these things, the more we find ourselves putting in that kind of energy and effort, the better we'll see this world become, and the more we'll see things change. Our changes and the things that we're asking for aren't monumentous like most people might think. We want subtle, small things. Why? Because, to be honest with you, as a collective, I say this all the time. Think about it. What group of people is more motivated than we are? We're always motivated in every way imaginable, because usually we always got to start 10, 15 feet behind the next person just because of the color of our skin. They tend to think we're undereducated. They tend to think we, aren't
yeah,
motivated to talk. They tend to think that we're not motivated to get the job done. There's all these extenuating factors that they factor in. The things that we just are like, look, that's a part of my everyday.
yes.
We don't even think about it that hard. But they seem to think that it's, reason for them to,
Well, you
pull.
know, you already know the answer to that. There is no other people that is. Speaking of that, I'm having another moment right now. Motivational Monday mentorship moment. And we're gonna keep it comedians because Charles Walden was on earlier. I'm gonna
Yes.
bring it a little closer to the vest, because this brother here with me, we just did 10 damn shows back to back. We took it from Broadway up to Levity Live and Rockland County and Nyack. And we did our damn thing. We are the New York Kings, which consists of Brother Capone, who's the gangster, the Latin assassin, who's Mark Vieira, your boy Money Earning Mount Vernon Talent, and this man right here. I call him Mr. Producer Man. And that's why he's a mentor to me from the moment I got in the game of comedy to now watching him get it done, self made. Ladies and gentlemen, New York King Rob Stapleton is in
Yes,
our room
yes,
tonight.
yes.
What up, fellas? What up?
What's
What up?
going
What up,
What
on,
up,
man?
man?
King?
It's good.
How you living?
It's good to see y'all, man. Your talent. We put that work in, huh?
Yo, first of all, let's talk about that. This dude
What up,
right
Mir?
here,
What up,
man.
Mir? What up, Mir?
What's going on? How's everything, Rob? Good to see
Now,
you,
how I
King.
sound, man? Can you hear me all right?
You
Yes,
sound
we can hear
wonderful.
you.
I know I'm a
Yes,
little
Amir, let me
sir.
tell
dark.
you something, Amir.
I don't have my color. I don't have my light with me, man. I'm sorry.
It's
It's
okay.
all
You
good.
good. Amir, let me tell you something, Amir. Let me say this. Our last show told it all. Our last show number
Crazy,
10, we
crazy,
had to do it without Capone,
crazy,
right?
crazy.
And we said to ourselves, what do we do? Are we gonna grab somebody? Blah blah blah. And Mark said, man, I think we just do it alone. Then we had another meeting behind that. Rob said, hey man, just do it alone, right? So I said, okay, y'all know we gotta add a little oomph and step it up, minutes,
Hell yeah,
intensity, all that good shit.
hell yeah.
And I know we said it, but to see it, I, I followed this dude like a puppy in the back. I said, Nick, what the hell is he doing up there? He was like, yo, it's what we do. I was like, so kudos and applause to you for that. But I brought you on here, Rob, today because we're talking about mentors and influences, right? And the same thing I had Charles Wald on earlier, and I thought about you, and I'm like, I know you work hard, super hard to get this film done. He has a movie called The Stuff, and
Yes,
he'll tell you
sir.
about all the outlets where you can watch and everything.
Yes,
But
sir.
I watched this dude during that course of time and like just so focused, get into this thing, get it done financially, the hard work physically, the editing room, reshoots,
Yeah, you
what we call
stole one of the
test
first
engineers.
drafts, man. I
Yeah,
remember
I
busted
appreciate
to
that.
your hotel room and had to get your view because you such a movie guru. I had to show you the raw. Like I don't like to show people some work when it's at a raw stage because if they don't know film, they don't really see the vision of where it can go. They just see where it's at. And I
Right.
remember
But do,
because
do you know that
you was like,
but you're influencing. Like you got to know that sometimes we get into what we're doing and we don't
mm-hmm,
really channel that stuff. But I'm on the outside looking in and I'm like,
right.
bro, people are looking at you like, yo, you know what I mean? You're influencing people. I spoke to at least two dudes like, yo, okay, you got Rob. I need to figure out how he did this, did that, whatever. I said, yo, go see him. Go to Salsa, introduce yourself, go ask him questions, hit him in the inbox, whatever. Connect, do your due diligence, but that makes you a mentor, brother, and an influencer. You know what I mean?
Now it's real talk, man. It was, like I was watching Country Wayne the other day during an interview, and you know how we always feel as being vets. And Amir, even though you're not a stand-up, you've been around us long enough to know vet talk. You know what I mean in the comedy game, and this dude, I really had a certain feeling about social media guys coming into the whole stand-up world, but this dude put his work in crazy. You know what I mean? Where
Yes.
Yeah.
and he said something that I always felt was that Hollywood isn't letting everybody through their door no more until you already kind of proved yourself. And the internet and in this independent film world gives you the opportunity to kind of just do that. There's no more excuses. It's like what we're doing right now, coming like doing this
Yes.
podcast. It's like we're not waiting for ABC or NBC or ESPN to say blah blah. We're doing this shit now. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Yes.
Right.
whoever attaches themselves to this gets on the bus and the bus moves. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
there's a lot of words in what Talent said. It was about, and a lot of people try to take this journey, but you get defeated because you let the first negative piece of negativity stop you. You have to climb
Yes.
over that wall and over that next wall and over that next wall and over that next wall because I'm striving for greatness, not for goodness, for greatness. You know what I
So
mean? So
at what point did you say I'm gonna do this? Like what point did you say I'm gonna write this or I gotta film this? You know what I mean?
you know what, Tal? Remember when I had an NBC deal, right? And I had moved out to Cali. When I was out in Cali, I it was my first real bite because we always do Cali in 1 or 2 week bites. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like 1, 2 weeks, and then we come back, and then we blah blah blah. I had a full bite of that, and then I realized I didn't like beef no more. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to bite of
Right.
that burger, and I said I really don't like burgers no more. And that's when I started saying, okay, I think I can do what all of these so-called Hollywood producers do. You know what I mean? But the next thing is getting funding. You know what I mean? You have to have a means in order to make something happen. You know, if you want to drive this car, you got to have this. If you want to live in this place, you got to have some type of money to support that. What I found now is that people don't really invest in your project. They invest in you because they feel your hustle, or they see what you do on that stage and they start to believe in you. So
Right.
long story short, that became my journey. You know, I started writing things and then doing sketches, Tal. I started doing sketches and going, oh, people like this. You know what I mean? The next one, boom, boom. And then I said, I'm going to make a big sketch that's an hour and 20 minutes and call it a feature film. You know what I mean?
Smart, smart. That's
Yeah.
smart shit right there, man. And Amir, you go back with us, so the outside looking in as well, as me. Um, I didn't do that yet. I did it with somebody else and somebody else's production, somebody else running the train. You, so to speak, is on the train. Now, I'm looking at it from just being outside. I get to hear all the murmurs and the whispers and everything. And that's why I said, like, you're a mentor, whether you know it or not. You're a role model, whether you know it or not. And not just in more ways than one. Obviously, you're Rob Stapleton. So in the comedy world, we fucking OGs and mentors to a lot of these cats that come the generation behind us. But now
Right.
this is another avenue where cats sit back in another layer and go, yeah, that dude right there just made me want to do something else. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
And
saying?
I've gotten calls from so many people that, like, there's three stages to this. There's getting somebody to read your script, first of all, right? Then it's
Right,
getting somebody to finance your script. And
right.
then it's, if you made it through both of those hurdles, is getting somebody to watch your project that doesn't have all of this big millions of dollars of promotion behind it. So I still get to this day. I can pull up total all emails and you see people that had just watched the movie last night and go, yo, I didn't know it was going to be like that. Because if they know you personally, it can't be on this type of standard. You know what I mean? They feel like, if I
Right.
know you and you a humble dude, there's no way it could be that good. Rob still answers my call when I call, or he still talks to me when I see him in the street. The movie can't be good. He ain't on no bullshit. He's still a nice guy. You know what I mean?
No, I
Yeah.
got you, bro. So you now the next step after all that, you got it placed where people can actually go and watch it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a
man. I
whole
got
nother
it on.
thing.
That's a whole other joint. You know what I mean? And,
Right.
I would love to have it on Netflix, but Netflix got hit with so much content now that they go through a whole different funnel. You have to have somebody inside on the inside of the inside in order to get something on Netflix
To
now.
get
You
those.
know what I mean? So, but there's so many other entities looking for content. So that's why I got it on Amazon. I got it on Tubi. You know what I mean? Tubi is huge.
Yeah.
Tubi don't realize that
Yeah.
people don't realize Fox owns Tubi. You know what I mean? And once Tubi gets into
Mm.
sports, oh my God, it's over. You know what I mean? Then I got it on YouTube. And YouTube, I don't care what nobody say. Everybody refers to YouTube once a day. You either start your day on YouTube, in the middle of the day you going on YouTube, or some part of your day you dealing with YouTube. You know what I mean? So the
Well,
film
well,
is
do
on
me a
all of
favor.
those plus more.
Do me a favor. I want Rob Stapleton to do his own pitch commercial to tell people how to go watch this movie because everybody needs to see the stuff.
Yeah, man. Uh, First of all, let me tell people what the movie is, so what they'll be engaging in. The stuff is a comedy, action, suspense, dramatic film. You can't just put it in one lane and just
Facts.
think that just because I'm a comedian that is slapstick and guys are throwing pies in each other's face. There's intrigue. There's levels to this film. It's a throwback of Uptown Saturday Night, but with a twist of a lot of Training Day in it. You know what I mean? So
Yep. Yep.
I wanted that. I wanted that challenge. I hate when you watch a movie. You ever watch a movie, Amir, in Talent? In the first 15 minutes, you could tell who's going to die. You're going to tell she's going to sleep with him. You can tell all those issues in the first 15 minutes, right? Like the first 15, you're like, why am I watching this longer than a half hour? And that I didn't want to have that type of film. So right now, anybody I want to watch can watch it, like I said, on Tubi for free. All you gotta do is download the app. Everybody has access. Everybody's accessible to getting Tubi. You can watch it on YouTube. It's free
Right.
on YouTube. Now, the big thing I gotta say is that there's a movie that came out called The Stuff that's 1985. So you can't be drinking and click the first stuff that you see. You got to make sure that it's the Rob Stapleton stuff, because you're going to see something from 1985 and be like, damn, Rob was really bugging when he did this one. You know what I
Hey, Rob,
mean?
hey, Rob, depending on how high they are, they'd be like, yo, he had a hell of a budget.
Yeah.
I didn't know he did a time piece.
Yo, how we get Morgan Freeman in this? Morgan
That is
Freeman was much
Yo.
younger. He was still old, but much younger back then.
My brother, thank you so much for sharing with us. Get that word out, because I want as many people to see it as possible. Again, brother, hats off to you guys for the last 10 shows. Constant professionals, man, and get it done. And the reviews are in, bro. I don't know about you, but all my social media every single night was lit with requests and little short boomerang videos and pictures of Kings, and they loved us, bro. They loved us.
It was crazy, man. We need to all pat ourselves on the back for that, man. Tremendous. Yeah. It was, when they say it was a movie, it was a movie.
That's facts. That's facts.
Hey,
ladies and gentlemen,
man, thank you for having me, man. Y'all be good, man.
Rob Stapleton, bro. Appreciate you, fam.
Love y'all, man.
Thank you, brother. That's how it goes down, people. That's one of my comrades. And I'm not gonna lie. That show that we had to carry where Capone was in there Sunday, I know we said it, but it's one thing to say it and lay it out, Amir. Is another thing when it's laid out. Actually, like I really was, I looked at Mark and I was like, holy shit, right? Then I go up to a few more. Then I looked at Rob and I'm like, holy shit. And it was like the plan was, after Rob was done, to hit him with another like 10, 12. And I was like, it don't even need another 10, 12. They need another 3, 4. Bring these guys back up. Thank y'all. Spread the word. See y'all again. And that's how we close that joint, bro.
You know, the one thing I can say, man, and I think that this is a testament to what, again, this show is about. We call this Motivational Monday, but I think one thing that people have to realize is steel sharpens steel, iron sharpens iron, whatever saying or whatever, analogy you want to use. And I think because you gentlemen are not only seasoned vets in the game, but you are truly gentlemen who have traveled around the country and around the world and had the opportunity to do what you do at its highest format. There's no disrespect to any of the new kids on the block and the young people coming in, because they look to you guys as the guys who they were inspired by. But I think when you start looking at it from that standpoint, when you start really taking into account, just so people are clear, the end of this month, you got 30 years in the game coming up, literally 30 years in the game. So for any and all of us who are on these various platforms, we have children who are 28, 25, 27, 23, 20. And that means that you've been doing what you do at the level you've been doing it for 30 of those years, which means that you are either really great at what you do or you've been lucky as a motherfucker. But either way, it speaks testament to what the game can do and how far it can take you. Rob said something, a moment ago, and it's true to form. A lot of people don't know this, but you, Rob, Drew Frazier, Gerald Kelly, y'all are my guys. Like people, Tracy Morgan falls under that category. All of y'all are my guys. Truly, I've been in the comedy game or been around it as long as you guys have been part of it. And to the point of, like you said, I don't get up there. You haven't seen me ever, do any stand up or anything like that. But talent can tell you the number of times when we are not on the camera, the laughter and the craziness and the funny stuff that comes out of my mouth. I'm just afraid to do it in front of 1,000 people like they do it. In front of 2 or 3, we can rock out. But in front of everybody, it's a whole nother story. But what I do appreciate, and I'm inspired by each and every one of you guys, because I watched you all go from your humble beginnings to, as you just pointed out, cats like Rob making movies of their own accord. Gentlemen like yourself and Gerald Kelly and you guys you hosted the Apollo. remember when you were on the radio. I remember when Gerald was on the radio. And I mean, the list goes on and on for the amount of accomplishments that each and every one of you gentlemen have, added to your own, personal list of things that you've been able to accomplish. But I think what people don't realize, with each and every one of those things, not once did any of you guys turn into something different. You all
Right.
maintain being the same humble, down to earth dudes I knew from day one. And I think that is not only a testament to you guys as individuals, but it's a testament to you guys as a collective. Because I think what's happened is, even though, circumstances have taken you all off in different directions, the bigger picture is you guys managed to maintain. And maintaining is a format of motivation, which just is continuing to put one foot in front of the other, no matter what obstacles belie you. And that is huge and major when it comes to doing what it is not you do, but when it comes to life. Everybody
Yes,
out here, please be
absolutely.
inspired to just every day put one foot in front of the other, stay motivated, stay driven to achieve your goals. I say this humbly, but I say it all the time. You're running your race. You're trying to win your championship. Stop comparing it to your friends. Don't compare it to your cousins. Compare it to siblings. Don't compare it to your friends. That's not championship. Your championship is your championship,
Absolutely.
which means
What they
any and
say?
all adjustments are
What they say?
necessary. Your
Absolutely.
championship. So, I say that
Absolutely.
humbly, but I say that we got to use that as our motivation week in and week out, day in and day out. So I always say that to you guys. I believe in it. I think that each and every one of you have a story to tell. Each and every one of you have kinds of to the journey called life. All you got to do is just put it out there. Some people gonna love it, some people gonna hate it, but who cares? It's your story.
That's right.
It's your contribution. That's what
That's right.
matters.
You heard the man, and I like to thank our guests, man. I like to thank Rob
Yes.
Stapleton for coming on and talking about taking it to another level, inspiring young filmmakers everywhere, young writers everywhere, young producers everywhere, and young actors everywhere. Thank you, Rob, for being who you are, and thank you to Charles Walden, who is an inspiration every walk and every step he takes. And all those people out there that wake up and find little lackluster reasons why they can't do something, you look at a Charles Walden and you'll see that everything about that is bullshit. You can do it if you push hard enough and do what you got to do. Thank you guys for tuning in to another Motivation Monday. That's Amir Silly. I'm Talon Harris. We'll do it again next week. Remember, I love y'all. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Peace. Peace, King.